The real estate market in the Portland metro area looks pretty bad compared to last year or even the year before. But if we take our current numbers and put them in a historic context, say over the last 15 years, how does our market look compared to more normal markets? I'm Ron Milligan with REMAX Select here in Portland's Pearl District, and what I have for you is a series that I've been doing just about every month now for several months, where we take the numbers for our most recent completed month and compare them, plotting them back over 15 years to see if we can get a little more context for how our current market stacks up to other markets. Comparing this market to the markets of 20 and 2021 is not a fair comparison. Those were white hot real estate markets for the Portland metro area and for the entire country. But if we can take these numbers and put them in the context of maybe 2015, 16, 17, 18, which are probably our more normal feeling markets, even though those were all seller's advantage markets, at least we can have a little more context on where our numbers stack up versus those time periods. So let's take a look at the first one, which is the number of active listings. So this is our supply, the supply side of our supply and demand listings, supply and demand equation. So you can see 4739 is the number of active listings that we had at the end of July. Keep in mind that this is just for the Portland metro area, not Southwest Washington, nothing across the border, and it doesn't include a lot of the suburbs that we do include in our sampling that we do every week. So 4739, of course, the last two years, July of 2020 and July of 2021, we had fewer listings. Not too many fewer in July of 2020 versus right now. But if we look back at 2015, 16, 17, 18, we're not doing too poorly compared to those years. 5,700, 5,300, 5,700, 6,500 active listings compared to the 4,739 we have right now. So we still have a ways to go before we hit those still seller's advantage markets of the past years, of the past. The next one up is home price appreciation. Now, this is calculated by comparing the 12 most recent months, the average sale price of the 12 most recent months, to the previous 12 months. So it's a kind of a slower calculation of home price appreciation, and it kind of gets rid of the seasonality of our market. So we just average it over the entire year. At the end of July, we were at 10.4% appreciation. So July of 2022, we were 10.4% higher in our average sale price than we were in July of 2021. July of 2021, 16.1% higher than we were in July of 2020. And if we look at these numbers, we're at the top end of where we had been during those more seemingly normal years. 2012, we had, we're at the bottom of the market, minus 1% appreciation, 13, 11%, and then everything else was just shy of where we are right now. And again, these were all seller's advantage markets starting in probably 13, 14, and going forward. The next one that we have is days on market. We just hit 20 days on market on average in July of 2022. And if we look back at this graph, we can see that we still have quite a ways to go. Our closest mark will probably be July of 2016, where we had 32 days on market. Right now, it's only 20. Comparing the next thing, the number of new listings. This is where we start to see some weaker numbers for this year. So this is how many new listings were listed during the month of July in 2022, 3,763. That's a little lower than we'd seen in just about any year going back to about 2013. Fewer sellers were listing their properties in July of 2022 versus previous years. So it is a little bit quieter on the supply side there. New pending sales is also down compared to everything that we've been seeing since about July of 2012. We had 2445. So these are new transactions. This is kind of our measure of buyer demand. Surprise, it's a lot lower given the interest rates and the shock of interest rates going from the high 2s and low 3s up to 5 and 6%. yeah, looking at these numbers, we had a lot more new pending transactions every year going back till about 2012. And then the last one is, no surprise here, closed sales. If we're having suppressed numbers of new transactions going under contract, we're going to have a suppressed number of sales as well. 2369 is what we had. And again, we have to go back to about 2012 before we see numbers in that range or lower than that number. So at least that gives us a little bit of context. So when you hear when we talk about the numbers in our weekly market update, you've got a little more context of where we are. And again, I'll do this when we get the numbers for August, which should come out in the next probably 10 to 12 days. I'll do these graphs again. As always, if you're curious about what's going on in your neck of the woods, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to do a bit of research and share what I know. And then I would love it if you would give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe to this video, or share it with someone who might need a little bit of context themselves. All right, we'll see you next month.